Thank you, Dr. Rao. Thank you, the whole organizing committee of RSSDI, Bansi Sabu, Sanjay Agarwal, Dr. Vasant Kumar, and the entire team, Treatment Events, and Medtronic, who has contracted this talk. I'm happy I'm speaking in front of Dr. Sunil Jain, who's the master of insulin pumps. So I'm sure all the questions given to me will be answered by him. So it's unfortunate that, type 1 diabetes unfortunately has not been treated the way it should ideally be treated. And it's a state where there is complete insulin deficiency. And exogenously, when we give insulin in the subcutaneous tissue, is the most non-physiological way of supplementing exogenous insulin. And this is as close to one can get what nature took away from them. So insulin delivery automation to improve clinical outcomes and to reduce patient burden. And we have come very, very close to what we call as an AP or an artificial pancreas. This is an hybrid closed loop pancreas, which is closed loop insulin pump, which is going to be launched by the end of November, which I'm going to speak about. So these are the insights, solution, and actions, and they've come with something called as a smart guard technology. So what are the goals of diabetes treatment? Now we, from all our studies have always been based on HbA1c, and we now have this fantastic tool called TIR, which tells us that we need to keep 70% of our patients in TIR. And that's where the CGM and the insulin pumps comes in. That for type 1 diabetes, very, very essential that we manage TIR, and a lot of data has been found from all the older studies like DCCT. They have been extrapolated to the TIR. It's very important that TIR becomes a new tool for helping management of type 1 diabetes as such. So both of them are complementary. It's not that HbA1c is out and TIR is in. It's both of them are complementary because complications are related to to HbA1c, and we have now extrapolated it to a TIR as well. And what do we want? We want an HbA1c less than 7%. We want a TIR more than 70% for as many of our patients as possible. Unfortunate that the pumps in India have been used mainly for type 2 rather than type 1, where there's absolute insulin deficiency. And insulin has actually made type 1 diabetes, which was a fatal disorder till 100 years back, into something which we are able to treat, and today the lifespan has improved. So it's a miracle in itself. So what are the patient challenges when with type 1 diabetes? Glucose variability. We all know the story of glucose variability. People who use insulin pump, we know that there's a lot of correction boluses. Many a time these insulin pumps are used as a substitute to injectable insulin rather than actually make use of the technology and make sure that the correction boluses are given. Carbohydrate counting, what Dr. Jain eats in his house, his paratha as compared to mine, is very different. So there's a need that there is an Indianization or desi carbohydrate counting, which a lot of associations have come up with also, but that's important that we understand carbohydrate counting. And it's not just insulin and lack of insulin. There are these many variables which affect blood glucose values. And you can see at two different nocturnal CGM data, there's a lot of variability which occurs in people with type 1 diabetes. And this is what one cannot be tackling with injectable insulin. You need something to keep nudging. You need something to keep monitoring. You need something to make sure that the patient is given the adequate insulin at that time and then pull off the insulin when it's not required. And that's where technology comes in. I think technology has actually revolutionized the treatment of type 1 diabetes with the help of CGM and CGM augmented pumps, and this being one of them. So correction boluses, again, administering the right amount. Now, if you look at it, 1 out of 3 high glucose are not followed by correction boluses, even in patients with type 1 diabetes. 1 out of 2 times correction boluses are wrongly calculated. And again, it's purely because of the lack of insulin pump training that we have and what we can give to our patients with type 1 diabetes. So there's a huge lacunae there. We have gone far ahead in our management of type 2 diabetes. When it comes to type 1 diabetes, these finer nuances, and unfortunately, we do not have that kind of time, space, and also the mental block to actually understand correction boluses and carb counting. Again, if you look at how do you calculate an accurate bolus, nearly 50% of people with type 1 diabetes consider counting carbohydrate the most burdensome aspect of diabetes healthcare. 60% do not count meal carbohydrate correctly. So again, there is going to be a inadequate or a over adequate insulinization which occurs in people with type 1 diabetes. So how do we take care of this? The most common is patient selection is important. Just because it's a type 1 diabetes doesn't mean that the patient should be on a insulin pump. You know, he should be somebody who is very technologically savvy. That is extremely important. He needs to understand what is happening. He counts his carbs well. He adheres to diabetes management tasks. And again, he's ready for insulin pump therapy, and he's ready to have an interface with the doctor, with the trained medical staff in our hospitals. So again, what could change from an ideal patient to a new typical patient? Now, it's very difficult that we can impart that kind of training to all our type 1 diabetes. But imagine a scenario that, you know, the pump gets trained on itself over a period of time, and the AI picks up a lot of variation that the patient has and devises a self-made algorithm, and which is extremely safe, has a kind of technology which prevents the hypos and the hypers, and makes sure the life of these patients with type 1 diabetes and the quality of life gets better over a period of time. That's where the 780G system comes in, and I'm just going to give you an overview because it's for launch by the end of November. But this is an overview of the 780G system. Now, it's very close to an artificial pancreas. It adjusts and corrects glucose levels every minute, every 5 minutes as needed. That's called as an auto bolus, and helps prevents highs and lows. Again, you can have a lower default target of 100 with options to select higher targets. Usually a higher target is selected when the patient is exercising. Otherwise, around 100 to 120 is what it is. Again, it offers connectivity and upgradability. Now, many a time the CGM and the sensor augmented pump can be interpreted by the patient itself. And this, with the help of technology, is able to give it to a smartphone and also to other patient caregivers, to make sure that there's not one, there are multiple people involved in patient care. So if there is a wrong setting or something, there are others also involved in this as such. And it again helps to prevent and protect from highs and lows. There's an auto basal which determines an individual's insulin needs and automatically adjusts insulin delivery every 5 minutes to minimize both highs and lows. And there are auto boluses. So that is the difference between a 770G and a 780G. The 780G has an auto bolus also. 770G has an auto basal. Am I right? Yeah. So what happens is that when you have a sensor augmentation, and every 5 minutes you set the thing at whether it's 100, 120, every 5 minutes the auto basal changes to make sure you are at that level. And beyond a particular auto basal, a maximum basal rate, if your sugars still tend to go high, then the auto bolus comes in. So with that, you are able to keep correcting the interprandial control very, very well. Still, when the patient decides to eat a meal, he needs to flag, he needs to manually take. Again, you will have the active insulin, and also once you put the carb counting in it, it will also tell you what is the amount to be given. So what happens when you put a pump like this, the first 48 hours is basically in the manual mode. In the 48 hours, it realizes what is the patient having. The patient needs to punch in a lot of things in the first 48 hours. In the 48 hours, it develops its own AI. So after the 48 hours, I think midnight is when it starts its own automated system. And once that happens, and when you have an auto basal, and when maximum auto basal is not taking care, you have an auto bolus also, you are able to keep interprandial control very, very well. And that's where the difference lies with a normal insulin pump or a CSII versus an intelligent or an AI-assisted insulin pump system. As I said, it corrects, and it has this technology called a smart guard technology. Again, it helps prevent highs and lows. I drive a car which has got an automatic sensor, and again something comes in, it brakes on its own. So my driver sometimes get confused. It doesn't let you lane cut on a highway. It prevents you. So again, it gives you a signal that probably you're lane cutting because you are falling asleep. So these kind of pointers help you to understand that probably an AI can be developed in a lot of things. And today we have vehicles which run without a driver. So I believe if a car can go on a street without a driver, an insulin pump can surely work without we manually doing it. And that's what the smart guard technology is all about. As you can see, it prevents highs, prevents lows. Again, I'm not getting into studies as such because I see only 4 minutes left for me. Again, this is a study which was done with the 780G and the classical insulin pump. And we were able to get almost 79, that means almost 80% of patients in time in range using a device. And somehow I don't have the slide, but one of my patients who's on a CGM augmented insulin pump today, pregnant type 1 diabetes, is reaching an 85% TIR without any hypo, successful delivery delivered last month. So with the help of technology, you can have these kind of successful outcomes for patients in a very high risk situation as such also. Again, it's very, auto correction helps us make for the carb count that aren't always exact. Again, it helps us in the carb counting because the AI keeps on getting refined as you keep using it over a period of time. Patient satisfaction, less effort managing highs and lows. 70% claim the less effort to keep high blood sugar from happening. 70% claim less efforts to keep blood sugars from happening. Smartphone connectivity is extremely important that there's an ecosystem which is developed. It is for the patient. There is an app. There's a time in range which is constantly seen on the smartphone, and there is a CareLink Connect app which can be given to the other patient caregivers. So it's not just one. You have a lot of people who are surrounding the patient, and this helps the confidence of the people with type 1 diabetes, because all said and done, hypoglycemic variability has been the stumbling block and hurdles for type 1 diabetes, not just reaching control, but the quality of life. And that is something which gets settled when we use an automated device, Again, remote follow-ups, you can have, with technology, you can have all these automated uploads of patient data. You can sit in your clinic itself and do all this. So in short, automation is going to help patients reach glycemic targets, can help more patients to reach glycemic target. Auto correction is the best advancement that the pump has come up with. It's remote management of patients with automatic CareLink and a less effort in managing highs and lows. Thank you all for a patient hearing.